Hey everyone, it's Professor Kettler. I wanted to make this video so that way you understand how to access your lab assignments and things associated with that, since it can be a little difficult to find some of the required materials and things that you need. So first thing to remember is that Module 1 does not require a lab kit. It's Module 2 through 5 that you will need a lab kit for. So a lot of students will typically click on assignments and they will, go to the labs that they need to access. So if we click on Module 1 lab, you will see that there's an overview. It's asking you to conduct all the lab exercises. I give you a link to the document that you need to submit, and it kind of goes over what parts you need to complete. Now, downloading this document will not give you necessarily the information that you need in order to complete the work. That's found in a different location. But this is the document that you will need to download and submit. So what you will need to do is, I don't believe that editing should be enabled for this. I think it only does that because it's my document. It's a document that I shared with everybody. So if you see editing, let me know, because that might be an issue. Anyways, what you should do is go to File, go to Download, and download it as a Microsoft Word document. Downloading it as like a PDF will make it so where you cannot edit the document unless you have a PDF editor. So it's better to go ahead and just download it as a Microsoft Word document. That enables you to edit the document. So where do you find, the lab information to help you answer the questions that are in the lab? That is found in the actual module itself. So what you will have to do is you will go to Content. You will click on the module that you are currently in. I'm just doing Module 1, but I'm going to do the other ones as well so that way you can see it. You can click on Assignments, and you can see right here there's different parts that are linked. So if you click on Part 1, it will take you to some slides where it teaches you the information. All right. So you go through, everything that's here on the left-hand side, or you can use, the button right here. Then you click out of it, go back to Assignments, right? Do Part 2, do Part 3. Now on this particular lab, there are sorry, lost my train of thought there. On the left-hand side, it kind of walks you through some things. Then at the very bottom, it says like assignments and procedures. So for Module 1, you are not doing these exercises right here, okay? You are only doing I'm going to it, Part 2 exercises, all right? So the exercises are actually listed all the way at the bottom where it says assignments and procedures. This tells you how to complete the work. All the way at the bottom, these are the exercises. Now you'll see if you click on one of these, right, this is very similar to what I have included in your lab report. See, same thing, right? So you don't have to download these and do them separately. I've already combined it for you in a full report. So let's go ahead. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and look at Module 2. So we'll go to Content, Module 2, all right, and click on Module 2 Labs. So this one is just basically telling you need a lab kit for this particular assignment. Here are all the parts that you are going through and doing. And then here is your downloadable lab report document. So this lab report tells you which parts to do. So you are doing Part 1, right? There's a potential experiment for each part. Then there's post-lab questions that are kind of asking you things about after the lab. Okay, then there's another experiment. Okay, part 2, right? Several experiments. I try to tell you how long they will take. These are just estimates. It could take you less. It could take you more time. I instruct you how to answer, the parts of the lab. So I try to give you some hints to help you. Right. So in this, Module 2 lab, it's going to take quite a number of hours to complete. So you want to make sure that you are giving yourself enough time to do all these experiments. So you can see there's quite a number of experiments in just this Module 2 labs. So there's at least, I think, 4. So again, you want to download this, right? But then, the procedures aren't here, right? So this just says what you're supposed to fill out. It doesn't tell you how to do it. So instead, you have to go in, right? So that was part 2. So we're going to click on part 2. And this is where it will give you background information about what you're learning in the lab, which you should read through because this helps you answer the questions. And then whenever you want to get to the procedures for that lab, for that experiment, it's in the Assignments and Procedures tab. So you'll click on the experiment that you want to complete. Remember, they're not optional, like you want to complete them because that will help you with your answers. So it'll tell you like what materials you should have. Anything that's in red, you have to provide yourself. And then it will walk you through the procedures. Now, for every experiment, I have also made a video of me doing the experiment that you can watch. It'll be posted to the class announcements. It'll be emailed as well. That shows you how to complete this. So you can also follow along with me. You're not, stuck having to, complete it without help. And you can always reach out with any questions you have. Now, you can see right here, right, there's data listed here. So that is actually already in your lab report. So you don't have to worry about, downloading the data sheet. All right. So, right, when you get done with that experiment, you'll do the second experiment. Now, when you are looking, so remember that each part has an experiment associated with it. So don't forget to do all the parts. Now, for Module 2, Part 4 and Part 5 are optional. You do not have to do them. I honestly wouldn't worry about it because it takes a long time to do these 2 particular labs. You don't get any extra credit or anything like that for them. So I wouldn't bother. So Part 1, Part 2, Part 3 for Module 2. For Module 3, right, you've got Part 1 and Part 2. Okay, here's your lab report. So if you click on that, talks to you, gives you information about cell cycle and genetics. Going to the assignment and procedures, you've got experiment 1 here, which is actually a multi-part experiment. If you go into Part 2, right, information to help you, go to assignments and procedures. Here are the 3 experiments that you do, right? And so clicking on them walks you through what materials you need to have, how to do the procedure, right? So like I said, if you need help doing the experiment or you're getting stuck, make sure that you watch the videos that I've done. So like for each experiment, I have made a video and it will be in the class announcements and class email sent out ahead of time. So that way you can watch the videos of me doing it and showing you, okay, this is how you can go through this and be successful. So that's Module 3. Module 4, right? I think at this point you probably get what you're doing. This one is a little bit different because there's like a really intensive lab report associated with it. And that has to do with part 2, which is bacteria. You are actually growing bacteria, and it takes 2 weeks. So you want to start this lab very, very early, just because it can take up to a week for the bacteria to start growing, and then you're inoculating it with an antibiotic, like several antibiotic discs, and it can take a while for that data to show up. So when you're doing the experiment, this one is very, very intensive. There's a lot of materials here. There's some background information to read. And again, I have done, a video for this, but as far as like the formal lab report is concerned, that can be found looking at your lab report link. And so you're going to still you're still going to do part 1, which is about taxonomy. Okay. And that shouldn't take you too long. But then you're going to get to this experiment. And I said it takes 10 to 14 days. I would err on the side of, probably taking 14 days total. And so what you can see is that, this one's a little bit more intensive. So there's an abstract, an introduction, materials and methods report, data table to fill out, results, and then post-lab questions, and then a conclusion. So there will be more information about this, but that's why this lab can be so time-intensive and take you a while. So that's the difference between Module 4 and the other modules. Last up, Module 5. Here's the labs. Okay, you've got part 1, part 2. So again, finding your procedures and things are here. Here's the experiments that are going to be completed for, part 1. Part 2, here's your information. And it's really good to go through this information because it talks about, the knowledge that you need to have. This is what you're going to want to use to help support, any questions that you're answering. When you're ready, right, here's the 2 experiments. Okay, so hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions or need any assistance. We're going to get through it together. I know it can be intimidating, but you guys can do this, and I believe in you. And I am here to help you every step of the way. So reach out if you need anything, and I will see you all later.